Ladies and gentlemen, this next fight is scheduled for 6 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner to my left, wearing black trunks with gold lettering. Tonight, entering the ring as a professional for the 46th time.
Wow.
He comes to us from São Paulo, Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, Aldimar Silva. And his opponent, standing directly across the ring, fighting out of the red corner to my right. Tonight, he's wearing white and blue trunks. His record, perfect. 12 wins, 0 defeats, 5 big wins by KO. A former Boston Boxing Promotions Fighter of the Year from Lowell, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, St. Nick Molina. 6 rounds, lightweight.
Well, if you're wondering who brought the fans here tonight, or a lot of them, Nick Molina did.
Absolutely.
Always.
2-time headliner. The question here, gentlemen, is Nick Molina going to notch another knockout and get right back in the mix, or is he going to stick with his boxing after a long layoff? I'm sure he would like some rounds. You know,
it's also going to be, what are we going to get out of Silva?
100%.
I'm always a fan of the discipline of Nick when he fights.
Silva had a long flight from Brazil and got in 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And that's not to say that Nick does not have a killer instinct, even though he's a boxer. I've seen him get in there with guys early on in his career that had no business being in the ring, and he took care of them right away.
Yeah,
so he
Nick,
will go there.
Look at that, right to his jab. Beautiful check hook out the gate.
Yeah, Nick, I wouldn't say Nick has shown big knockdown power, but he has flurry power, and he has that kind of power that paralyzes the guy
He's
in the
very
corner.
sharp. He's a very, very sharp fighter.
And if you're not responding, Nick can just lay hands on you.
Yeah.
He'll get a stoppage.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see the layoff he took after that brilliant performance against Brandon Higgins, because I thought he could just capitalize on that. But
he's throwing that left hook at such a nice trajectory. It's landing perfectly.
Patient start here from Molina. Silva with a 1-2, letting him know he's here to fight. Nice shots there from Nick in return.
That seemed to bother Silva a little bit. Decent body work right here.
Nice little jab to the body. Oh, nice little overhand from Molina.
Nice right hand.
Wow.
Always strange to me when 2 guys in a professional fight touch. You and I have talked about that before.
It's cool, but like, come on, man, we're fighting. Yeah. Let's go. Like, hey, thanks for punching me in the face.
Yeah, great job, great job. Sparring, I completely
Pretty much just telling the judge to rack up the point for the other guy.
I did not win this round 10-9.
Lean down to the judge. He just won that exchange.
Yeah, did great.
But Silva's getting it. He's a 1 punch at a time right
now.
Let me tell you.
2 on the button.
Nick Molina with the knockout.
Right hand.
Nick should go for it. I think Nick goes for it. He should. I mean,
he has
to get a veteran like this in a first-round knockout on your record would be fantastic.
He's got to jump on.
See what he does.
He's going for it, digging into the body.
And he did it so well by setting things up.
Silva doing the right thing, though, firing back with some big shots.
Discipline behind the jab.
And he landed one of them.
But let me tell you, that's a very impressive
Silva holding,
Nick
better move.
Oh, Nicky going for it.
Oh, a little battle, though. Silva, I think Silva's head's cleared for whatever it's
Might
worth.
have been a headbutt there. You see a little cut under the right eye of Nick Molina.
And Molina has been cut before, I believe, in 2 different occasions in his career already.
Definitely think they're.
Oh! That was nice. I don't think he hurt Molina with that, but
no.
but visually, you know.
Yeah, Molina was just kind of leaning back already.
I think Molina might want to just relax in there. A cut, a cut. You know, a danger. Like you said about Guerrero, when you're hurt, you're dangerous.
Yeah.
But a great start for Nick Molina in this first round here with a 10-8.
I think a little too much draws, perhaps. Smelt blood in the water, tried to jump and got caught with a shot or 2. But again, Greg, kind of. You drop a guy like that with a beautiful shot like that, I think instinct is to see, hey, can I get rid of him right away? You know.
And let me tell you,
Molina wasn't wrong for chasing.
Got a great corner, Nick Molina, with Manny Farley giving instructions.
Yeah,
on the other
great
side,
trainer.
the king, Fabiano Pena, back with those red sweatpants, barking instructions at his charge, Aldimar Silva.
Unbelievable. And look who the cornerman is.
It's Neto.
We
were talking about Neto. Neto worked the fight earlier. Neto was Prote's.
Man, Neto, one of the great upsets that I've ever seen was at a fight at Melrose Memorial Hall, and Neto, just as guy, I mean, he just
caught
was,
him, right?
yeah, just you love it. You love it when sometimes a guy's there, and
I always
he's
say
got
it, right?
No chance,
Anything can happen with 10-ounce gloves on.
But
Molina is really swelled up under that right eye.
That headbutt.
Yeah, I think he leaned with his head a little bit and caught it.
That was definitely from a headbutt. It's very frustrating after you switch.
Hey guys, that actually looks really rough. It looks like circular, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's a good.
I don't think he's
moon shape
bleeding,
right under
but
the eye.
Yeah, it's
but
definitely.
is it extended over the top, Aaron? Can you tell?
It looks like it's really just based under the eye, but I mean, another good shot, another good right hand or a headbutt can really open that thing up.
How bad? I'm trying to think of a guy who's. I remember Kyle Cusick had a fight here where his eye got really swollen. That
a lot of bad swelling.
Eddie Gates.
Yeah.
Tony Andriozzi, my fighter, he's been cut pretty bad before over the top of his eye, which is one of the worst cuts because it drips into the eyeball.
I was going to say that becomes.
I don't know if it's cut on the top or the bottom though. It's kind of hard, and I'm not sure if it's even cut. It just kind of looks like a massive swelling.
It looks like at the bottom, but it's just really bad swelling, and it's one of those abrasions that if it gets hit again, it could open up.
Oh yeah, especially keep in mind this is a 6-round fight.
It is.
So you got a couple rounds.
So you got to be careful. You know?
So I'd imagine. I'd
Caught another
imagine.
right hand there.
Yeah, I'd imagine Aaron in a situation like this, you probably would be telling your fighter, okay, let's protect the eye. Let's be.
You're protecting the eye. You move it to the opposite side.
Side,
guys,
exactly.
Silva caught him with a nice little counter there, though.
Because again, Silva is. We've said this. He's had.
Molina should be jabbing, moving to that right.
Yeah, Silva's had around 45 fights. This is nothing new to him. He knows to target the eye when he's got a guy in this situation.
Good little move there, a little jig to the right, landed a nice right hand.
He visually has a little bit of a Felix Trinidad look to him, huh?
He kind of does.
He really does, yeah. Oh, nice left
little
hook.
Fabiano fired up after that one.
Yeah, Silva's coming for it.
As he should be.
I think, like all fighters, right? You see blood, get a little excited. You know your punches are doing something.
Blood on the scarecrow, blood on the plow. Little reference for Brandon Barry, wherever he may be. Hope he's watching the broadcast tonight.
Yeah, we hope you're doing well, Brandon.
Shout out to Brandon.
God knows he loves his John Coog.
Yeah, I think Molina has to move to that right a little bit more, protect that eye.
Oh, there we go. Nice shot there.
I think Molina's got to get back to that jab, too.
Yeah.
He came out really I think he got that knockdown. He set it up.
Hey, listen, there's got to be some rust on him, and he's been out of the ring for 7 months, and after the fast pace he had. Now, during that time, he did get his real estate license, which is awesome. You can buy a house from Nick
there's
Molina.
life outside of boxing, right? You got to set yourself up.
100%. So young, smart kid, and again, heck of a fighter. His last performance, I just can't say enough about it. He gave tonight's main event, Brandon Higgins, I mean, dare I say a boxing lesson?
It was a beautiful performance.
Yeah, it was just a beautiful performance.
Nice right hand over the top by Nick.
If you need a house in Lowell, Massachusetts, give Nick Molina a call.
If I'm in Nick's corner, I'm telling him to move to that right. I think he has a lot more success moving that way.
A lot of pressure being from a boxing town like Lowell to have a legend like Mickey Ward that still lives there. Kids grow up there, and, they expect a lot out of their fighters.
Yeah, the torch eventually will be handed on to him. And
we got Mickey Ward right over there watching Nick Molina now. So.
You think you're from Lowell and Mickey Ward's staring at you, you want to let him down?
No.
Not to mention the Golden Glove situation there that obviously has gone on for roughly 1,700 years.
Absolutely.
But I've never been to a more exciting, more interesting, more passionate Golden Gloves than in Lowell.
Memorial Hall is a Lowell Memorial Hall.
Something.
Great venue. I know you've had some fighters there, Aaron.
Yeah, we've gone there a couple times. Yeah, we got some good wins there.
Good round for Molina. Not as crisp as he was at the beginning of the first, but
certainly. But protects the eye as needed.
I will tell you this: I'd like to see a little ice on that eye in that corner.
I think the end swell. I mean, even John Gruber in that last round, he had a little bit of swelling, just a little bit, and I busted it out.
Now it's coming. It's coming.
There it is. He has a great corner, so I would expect.
100%. Manny Farley's a great trainer. Actually, I think he's almost been a surprise as a trainer. He was probably
there it is.
2 years ago Trainer of the Year for sure.
They got the end swell, mix of Vaseline.
But he's also not the cut man. He's the lead trainer, so he's got to be concerned with different things.
Yeah, it's tough. I got to train. Maybe I'll train Tony on it. I do both cuts and everything. It's a lot.
And most fighters do, especially at the 4-round level. You see trainers do cuts as well. As those, but especially financially, but as those rounds go, it's just more chances.
It's a great skill to know.
Happen.
Yeah.
Can change the way the fight goes,
Absolutely.
I remember when Brian Marino got cut and.
Oh right,
I had to kind of salvage that one, and
I remember
we got him through it.
I remember that.
It was a bad one.
Who could forget when he leaned into your ear and said, "Cut me, cut me,
cut me."
You don't want to do it.
So we're in round 3 of 6 between Aldimar Silva, the wily veteran, shared a ring with, I think I said 5 former world champions.
Yeah. I mean, and you're talking high. I mean, even high level Jesse Magdaleno. I mean, my God.
Yeah, these are. I mean, It was like 8 years ago, but still, those are no names to be ashamed of.
Nick's doing a really good job moving to that right side.
And he's got a really sneaky lead hook. That little check hook, he just doubled it up.
Yeah, he throws it so nice and short. It lands beautifully.
Yeah, Silva's been on TV, Chris. Like, he made it to ESPN, man. Like that, he was there at one point as a legit, a good opponent.
And you got to give him credit, man, to stay in that type of physical shape after all those years and that age. You don't see guys that look like that have been at it this long.
He made weight easily, too.
All I can see is little Tito Trinidad in there now.
Yeah.
So
he's got the look, doesn't he?
The first thing he asked me after he weighed in was, where can I eat? And he got excited when I said Domino's was an option. So I don't know if he ate Domino's. But
there's a lot to unpack there. It's probably not for this broadcast, But the quality of pizza in this area, and you're hunting for Domino's, I mean, yikes.
Not a lot of places nearby. That's kind of can be the issue.
I won't lie, Domino's is a chain near and dear to my heart.
Is it really?
Aaron, I'll only say this body is.
That little hook, that hook caught him.
Caught him.
Again, that lead check hook. Whew.
Yeah, I've eaten a lot of cheesy bread in my life, Aaron. I get it. Nick's doing a good job protecting the eye. Definitely.
Nice work rate from Molina too.
Yeah. He's getting behind the jab. He's moving to the right. His corner definitely giving great instructions.
That's what you expect from Nick. Excellent footwork, excellent work rate, educated jab.
Yeah. Sometimes you get excited. You hurt a guy, you put him down, you get a little wild.
He was excited. And I don't blame him.
You know what's interesting about? Again, that lead hook is really nice. I've had the displeasure of being in the opposite corner to Nick Molina and losing, and I say displeasure because it was a great performance by him. Yeah. But what I found interesting was he is the type of fighter, he can fight in different ways. When he was in there with Danny Robles, who was a big puncher, he fought very much on the back foot, very defensively.
Oh, he definitely stunned Silva there for a second.
A lot of timing, a lot of holding. Yep. But I've also seen him come dead forward and be an aggressive puncher. And with Higgins, I've seen him be a great counter puncher. So he's displayed 3 completely different styles in his short career, which is a sign of a good fighter.
Yeah, that amateur background really helps, and all the sparring he gets.
Yeah.
So we're heading here to the end of the third.
I feel like his timing's starting to get a little better. You guys notice that?
He looks comfortable in there.
Getting
like
a little
you said,
more of the
changing
rust
up his style. He's got the hands up, kind of mummy style, working the inside. He looks good.
End of 3, I think another clear Nick Molina round.
Yeah, he's feeling good.
30-26. Yeah, if you're Nick Molina right now, you're cruising, you're in control. Of course, you'd like the stoppage, but let me tell you, Silva did not come here to go home with a knockout on his record. I think he'd like to go home and, say he went the distance.
Yeah, absolutely. For a guy like Silva, going the distance is a big deal because it increases the chance he can get another payday.
No suspension.
Yep.
He can get back in the ring a little bit quicker.
Fabio Pena is just a fantastic trainer.
Love Fabiano.
Yeah,
great trainer, great guy. I mean, he's a big reason why a lot of these guys can get here to the United States. He's a great
key player to club boxing in the United States.
Great coordinator. Coordinates a lot. He's an unsung hero, really.
There's a lot of players in boxing that are unsung, and he's absolutely one of them. And quite frankly, he's a very talented trainer. He just happens to be often with guys that are at a different point in their career.
Of course.
You'd love to see that, like a trainer swap.
But he,
a trainer. I'm serious. Like just as a game, just to see what would happen. There's some trainers out there. I think they just don't have the stable to show how good they are.
Yeah, that's true. Talent has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, Fabiano led a guy to a win in Boston a couple weeks ago, actually. So
yeah, and the opposite goes for that too. Just because you're an amazing trainer, if you have a fighter that's not that talented or shot, there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah, some guys can take guys and give them careers that they never thought they could have.
Yeah. There's a reason Freddie Roach isn't in the corner of a fighter who has a losing record. There's reputation that goes with it.
Exactly.
Sure.
And that's not a knock on Freddie. That's just how the business works. Live again. The Castleton is packed. If you were not here, you got to come out and experience.
I feel like it always is, man.
It always is.
It always is. You look around.
I see your fighter Mario Ramirez looking very intently over there.
Yeah.
I mean, we got fighters, we got fans, family members of fighters. It's a packed house right now.
And it's a great environment. Sometimes you go to certain boxing matches, and let's be quite frank, there's a lot of tough guys, wannabe fighters.
Of course,
That's not here. Everyone is really friendly. It's just they really respect the sport.
Credit to Peter Zimlo too for never allowing any of that kind of behavior.
100%. A lot of that goes into the promotion and how it's handled, the venue itself, the staff, the team here. It's just incredible.
Yep. I've even got a little dicey in the corner sometimes, and Peter's always He'll always come over.
I was going to get dicey with you when you brought that Chick-fil-A into the dressing room tonight. That was.
Yeah.
Guys are still hungry. Guys are still hungry, Aaron. Come on.
Guys got to do what a guy's got to do.
Just. That's that.
Yeah, they're in dog mode. They're in dog mode at that point. That Chick-fil-A could probably give a few wins tonight.
Right now, Nick Molina again having a pretty consistent round, man.
Like that sweet little check hook is just
he throws it with the perfect trajectory, nice and short, elbows tight.
He's such a great technical fighter.
Yeah.
Really is.
That's a fast shot to land, though. You really have to have quick hands. I think some people sleep on how fast Nick Molina's hands are. They look at him more as a technical fighter, but he's got a lot of facets to his game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One thing I've always noticed about Nick, sorry to cut you off, Gray, is he's got really big legs for this weight class.
He does. That's actually. You look at
he's a good size 35.
Silva's looks like sticks compared to Molina.
He's got those big, thick, strong legs, and as long as you're doing running and keeping them in shape, they can really help you.
Yeah, Nick does look very strong for this weight class. That's a great observation, Chris.
Yeah, I just had a 35er make a pro debut, and it was successful, but looking at Nick Molina now, man, my kid probably could have made 126 at that point.
Yeah.
Goes back to the fighter that I had against Nick Molina, which is Danny Robles. He's moved down tremendously, actually, in weight classes for his next fight. But, one of the things he said about being in there with Nick Molina is, like, I felt like I was in the wrong weight class.
Sure.
Oh,
another round there for Molina.
Guys that size that can make that weight.
End of 4. We're scheduled for 6. So
starting to have the feeling like we suspected of a
Aldimar getting through it.
Going through.
Yeah.
That's why that first round was a bit of a shock.
Yeah,
Silva may have been a little cold. If you remember, we were commenting on how he just wasn't active at all while he was waiting in the ring.
Legs were locked.
He had no sweat on. He was standing there, legs locked. He just didn't seem warm, and I think he paid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been a very a tactical performance from Nick Molina, but he got the first round knockdown. I think maybe in a way that kind of cursed him a little bit because he got a little overeager, and then the headbutt kind of affected the eye. And
but by the way, that headbutt has the swelling has really been controlled. So as much as I said, I commented about the corner perhaps not getting to it quick enough. Maybe they're aware that it's not as intense as it looks from the outside of the ring because Nick Molina is very pale. Pale fighters can swell easy and they can cut easy, but sometimes it looks visually worse than it actually is because of just the skin tone.
As a pale gentleman who once had a bottle thrown at him and had swelling, Chris, I understand.
Gray Johnson is the pale gentleman. Coming to theaters this fall.
Tony Andriozzi just messaged me and said that Nick Molina is his favorite fighter to watch live at Boston Boxing.
Wow.
Other than John Gruber, of course, our teammate. But
no, but there's a lot.
There's
a lot you can just see from Nick Molina that other guys in this area aren't as good at.
He has really good, something we haven't touched on at all, is some of his defensive stuff. He rolls very well with punches. He's way into that actually rolling away from the shot.
He makes guys miss by just enough.
Inches and angles. Mickey Ward once told me that, and I'm sure he said that. Actually, Boom Boom Mancini told me that. Got to give credit to Ray. Inches, it's a game of inches and angles, and the guys that can really own the inch and angle are the ones that go to that next level.
Yeah, it really is, right? Just making this just by a little bit.
But Nick has beautiful, tiny little shoulder movements, head movements. He rolls with punches, just like that.
Yeah,
he makes sure that head is not where it was after he works.
You see some guys, and then you see other guys, and Nick's one of those guys that you can tell he loves being in this ring.
Yeah.
I'm sure Nick would have liked to have gotten Silva out of here by now, but again, he's doing the right thing. He's doing what he does best.
And he's also getting rounds after a long layoff.
That's probably a good thing at the end of the day. You're right, Chris. Hasn't fought since Thanksgiving Eve, where he put on a tremendous performance, beating Brandon Higgins in the main event.
Nice little shot from Silva.
Silva's still throwing a live round here or there. I mean, I can't imagine. You take a long flight from Brazil, you got away in the next day, and then you're fighting the next day after that. It's tough, man.
You think of how much even a coast-to-coast flight affects me when I'm out here. I'm just a little off, and you're not sleeping right, and you're in a hotel and all that kind of stuff. To do that from another country.
And that's not a direct flight.
Yeah.
You're stopping in Miami, buddy.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of, travel plays into a lot of it. It really does. It has an effect.
Yeah, jet lag is real.
Yeah. And that's to his respect, not to his detriment, as far as I'm concerned,
No, there a guy that came in last second.
Right
he's doing well.
he's got the reputation of a pot shotter, but I don't necessarily think that's fair. I think a lot of the stuff he lands is systematically.
I think he mixes it up well. I
Yeah.
think he does pop shots sometimes, but I also seen him land some really, really solid shots.
And you don't see that enough from fighters, is changing the intensity of the punch. You're supposed to mix it up. You don't want your opponent to feel that it's always this wave.
You got to keep him guessing. Change your tempo. Change your stance up, the guard up a little bit. And you see Nick doing all those things right now.
Sneaky little uppercut.
He's going from somewhat of a shell to a high guard.
Again with that lead hook is just beautiful.
Yep. So I think it's safe to say Nick Molina up 50-44 after 5 rounds with the 6th and final round here.
Great performance from him so far. His corner's got to be happy.
Very impressive.
I mean, he hasn't lost a round. He probably hasn't lost many seconds in this fight. There's not. At the end of the day, yeah, you want the impressive stoppage if you can get it, but it's still there's literally little to criticize here.
Yeah.
There really isn't much.
Yeah.
Silva's just doing a good job staying on his feet. After he got knocked down, I think he realized, okay.
Yeah, he started to fight back a little bit.
Fight back a bit, but he knows, I think, that there's not much he can really do. There's no path to victory for him at this point, in my opinion.
Crowd is starting to buzz, guys. They're excited for this main event that's coming.
Let's talk about it.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Brandon Higgins, Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Kenny Larson, Salem, Mass.
Undefeated power puncher. 10-round fighter coming off his best win. Local prospects.
We've all seen Kenny Larson before, a guy that can just jumps on you, and he throws a lot of punches in it.
Yep, strong fighter.
This is going to be an awesome main event.
And Higgins, talk about strong. Brandon Higgins, one of the strongest looking fighters I've seen in New England, man.
Just came off a huge 10-round win.
He did. Over
Brandon Berry. Biggest win of his career.
Yeah, did excellent work against Brandon Berry. And we're in the final round now. Nick Molina, just in my opinion, way ahead at this point.
Great performance from him. Great performance against a very game veteran fighter.
And they've done a really nice job on that eye. It's definitely the swelling is starting to go down.
Yeah, I mean, Manny Farley's actually pretty reserved, and that means that he's happy with what he's seeing. He tends to be a very vocal coach, which I think is great. I love that energy in the corner. But sometimes it's not necessary when your fighter is completely dominating the fight. You just kind of sit back and enjoy what's occurring.
Yeah, I tell guys all the time. You know what I mean? Like, talk when you need to, but don't talk just to talk. Yeah. I don't do that.
He's reading the tea leaves. I think he knows at this point Nick Molina is
got to be happy with what he sees.
Yeah. Silva's got 2 minutes here to try.
Sometimes you just let your fighter do his thing.
Make something happen, but I think Molina is just like.
He's in total control right now.
He keeps a very nice work rate,
Does.
Actually, to be quite frank, he's put on the most impressive performance for me of the night.
Yeah, that's
I would say.
That's probably a fair statement. Thinking about that, I think you're right. I think Gruber probably would be close. I think you could argue.
Gruber definitely has best performance to date in his young career.
You could argue Gruber as well. I think him and Gruber. You didn't see that fight, Chris, but I
watched it in the back.
As many as you've seen everything tonight, I think Nick and Gruber are the two that have stood out to me. Yeah, Nick's full control here. Silva at this point, I think, very content to just make it to the bell. But hey, he came here and gave it a go. He didn't pack it in after that knockdown.
100%. And there's absolutely a world where he could have been like, you know what? It's time to get the dominoes.
Yeah, of course.
And he did not do that.
Yeah, he could have just kind of went after
cheesy bread time, baby.
He could have. That's probably Kia Prote was probably thinking something like that against Stephen Dunn, just calling it a day after a push or a half knockdown, I guess. But Silva's definitely stayed on the feet. Good for him.
I do feel like the crowd is a little restless. I'm sure they'd like to see a stoppage here.
Not everybody appreciates boxing skill at this level.
They love big knockouts. They love big
action. Good right hand over the top by Nick.
Nick Molina doesn't need to do that. What's the point? He can just box his way to victory, and he's done it.
Great performance by Nick Molina. Yeah.
I would be shocked if I hear anything other than 60-53. My mind would be blown.
And you know what you don't want to say what's next, but what's next? I want to see Nick Molina again. I want to continue to see his career trajectory.
Some more local fights, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's really it's up to Nick Molina. How far does
he's got a heck of a record right now, guys. He's in a place where if he wanted, he could absolutely find himself on a showbox card. Yeah. He could take an opportunity on the national level on the undercard of a major fight. Obviously, the competition will be a stark increase, but
like we said, I mean,
he's moving towards that.
He can box. You know what I mean? He's not chasing the knockout. So.
Especially when you get to that point when you move into that 15-win category, there's really nowhere else to go. You've got to start taking those big dice rolls.
A lot of guys, they rack up wins and they kind of just are content to stay on the local level. And I think Nick Molina is better than that.
Yeah, you either want to be a local legend to your buddies or push it to the national level.
I think Nick Molina, with the right opponent, could really push him. He could look good on a national level. So
he's got the skills for it.
He could be a sleeper breakout fighter from this area, 100%.
For sure.
I
can see him outboxing somebody on a bigger level for sure.
But definitely a very good performance tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's very
He may not be the most bust-about fighter, but he impresses you every time.
He always does what it takes to win. And
have you noticed that the competition, he performs better the higher level of the competition?
Yep. Some guys really rise to the occasion.
Some of his earlier fights were, quite frankly, just like, that's really, you'd think he would do a little better, but the minute he got in there with a Danny Robles or a Brandon Higgins or even somebody like Silva, it's like, whoa, this guy looks great.
Some fighters, I know Tony Andrews says me all the time, some guys really need to be afraid.
I don't think he's afraid, though. I actually think he's very comfortable.
Every fighter has a little bit of fear 100%. In them, and that's what keeps you sharp. Fear is a good thing.
I just think it's a competition factor.
For sure. There's that part of you that does not want to
lose. Yeah, we're all humans. Everybody can say that, but there's always that little bit of fear. But that fear keeps you sharp, keeps you hungry, and Nick is the kind of guy who rises to the occasion.
After 6 hard-fought rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Martha Tremblay, Ken Ezzo, and Eddie Scunzio are all in agreement. Your winner via scores of 60-53 all 3 times by unanimous decision.
There it is.
Saint Nick Molina.
So no surprise there, Aaron. 60-53 across the board, like we predicted. Yeah, it was
just a great performance.
Yeah, great performance. First time out in the ring in like 8 months for Nick. I'm sure he's annoyed that he got his eye got hit with the headbutt.
Yeah, especially with such a dominant performance, to have that little nick on you, but it's part of the game.
But listen, he's got his win. He's selling houses. He's doing good right now.
Man. It's the baddest realtor in town.
I know. I was gonna say, I don't know how many other realtors are badder than Nick Molina. So congratulations, Nick Molina. Baker's dozen, 13-0. Gotta love it. But he's
great performance.
Great performance.